He's smacking that lumpia.
Okay. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about diabetes. I'm not going to present to you guys a big statistical number, but instead a very small yet important number. That number is 3. 3 times out of the week for 3 hours, my grandma goes into dialysis to get her kidneys filtered out. This is a very common complication that arises in type 2 diabetic patients where they have kidney failure. Diabetes is a very infectious disease that takes the lives of many throughout the world each and every year. It is important that we start early on in our prevention of this disease while we still can. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the importance of insulin, the different types of diabetes that are out there, as well as ways to prevent it. Insulin is a key hormone that plays a role in our body's ability to maintain a safe blood sugar level, and is also a factor in diagnosing diabetic patients. According to the Joslin Diabetes Center, insulin works to unlock the body's cells so that sugar from the food that we eat can then be used by cells for energy. With this hormone, it helps convert glucose into usable energy for our body. It is produced in the islet of Langerhans cells of our pancreas. By getting a better understanding of this hormone, we can then be able to distinguish the different types of diabetes that are out there. There are 3 common types of diabetes. Type 1 is the first. It is also referred to as juvenile onset diabetes. This is where the pancreas is unable to produce a sufficient amount of insulin for the body, and to the point where the body can't break down sugars. It is also referred to as juvenile because it is very common in children. Because it is an autoimmune disease, it is much harder to prevent because it is predetermined by family history and genetics. Fortunately, this only accounts for 5 to 10% of those with diabetes, according to the American Diabetes Association. Its subsequent, type 2, on the other hand, accounts for 90 to 95% of all diabetes cases, according to the CDC. It is also referred to as adult onset. This occurs in people that consume too much glucose to the point that it diminishes the effect of insulin within our body, making it not work in the way that it should be. This is very preventable as it is influenced by the lifestyle that one chooses. The third type is going to be gestational, which occurs during pregnancy. Like many other forms of diabetes, this also is unable to produce and use glucose and insulin in its proper ways, affecting both the mother and the fetus. This is very serious because even though it affects both, it is most importantly affecting the proper development of the fetus. While these are the most common, there are still rare and specific types of diabetes that are out there. For example, according to the American Diabetes Association, there are unusual causes that are resulted from genetically determined abnormalities of insulin actions, or as well disease of the exocrine pancreas. It is very easy to prevent and lower the risk of getting this disease, and this all depends on a change in lifestyle. The first and most important is your diet. What we fuel our body with reflects how it later then functions. By cutting and limiting the junk food that we eat will lower the chance that our bodily functions will then become corrupt. Second is keeping our body exercised. By keeping our body in shape, it will then burn the food we eat. It will not only burn the food that we eat, but also keep our body from atrophying. Lastly, it's to limit the toxins like tobacco and alcohol into our system. This causes great harm and impairment to many bodily organs, as well as our liver and lungs, which can then lead to cancer. By seizing any type of toxins that enter into our body, it limits the severity that a disease can then become in our body. In conclusion, while we take many things for granted, we should not take the action of insulin and what it does for our body. By having a good diet and continuing to exercise, we are then able to limit and lower the risk of attracting this disease. By being more educated and knowing the effects of this disease is taking one big step in our prevention of this disease. Thank you.